catch up when they come in. My name is Jami Rhoades Antonisse, and I am the president of the Oklahoma Foundation for Excellence this year. I was an academic all-stater in the inaugural class of 19, and which makes me old. But it also makes me pretty dialed into this organization. I think we do great work. I am very glad to have you all on board as trustees to join us in the foundation's mission. And Cathy Render, who is the immediate past president of the foundation, and I are going to try to get you oriented today. The running joke is this: I can't follow a script to save my life, but I can promise you that the one time I will follow this script, which was developed as if Emily Stratton, our retired executive director, and I were going to give this talk. I will refer to Cathy as Emily, I feel certain. I will refer to the script at the most inopportune times and read the wrong things. So be prepared for that. That's my friendly amendment to Jami can't follow the script. It is Jami can't follow the script unless it's going to be really, really embarrassing for her. So with that said, my script says, introduce Emily. I'm going to let Cathy introduce herself.
Hi there. Well, I've been a longtime trustee of the foundation. I came at this from actually being invited to sit on a fall forum committee years and years ago as I was creating and starting a local school education foundation. So my background started in the local school foundation network, and as has gone on and on, I've totally enjoyed my almost six years in leadership here with the OFE, because a few years ago we instituted a rule that we had a 2-year chair-elect, a 2-year chair, and a 2-year post-chair. So a long time involvement with all of the details, and it's thoroughly enjoyable because I absolutely think the mission of this organization is superb. It's a wonderful statewide group, and it's filled with fantastic people who support public education in the absolute best way that Oklahoma can do. And I'm very proud of all of those relationships that I've made through the years. So that's who I am.
Fantastic. And now I would like to know a little bit more about who all y'all are. Some of you I have had the pleasure of meeting in person and getting to know a little bit. Others of you are new faces. So I'm just going to take this alphabetically, let you all say a few words about who you are, what you do, what brings you to the board. And we will start with Mike Boynton.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Boynton. I am currently the head men's basketball coach at Oklahoma State University, where I'm starting my 5th year in that role. Prior to that, I was an assistant coach for 13 years at various schools across the mostly Southeast. I'm originally from New York City, and I'm excited to be a part of this. I have a great passion for education, and look forward to doing everything I can to make a positive impact here moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. Annie Chang, a fellow academic all-state.
Yeah, hi everyone. I am a content strategist here at GetWit. The first question I always get is, what is a GetWit? It is, I wish there was an easy way to explain. A reductionist way of saying it would be we're an ad agency. But we also build apps, websites, platforms. Really, we like to say whatever problem someone might have, we just do whatever we can to solve it. So here I lead a team of writers and conceptors. Yes, academic all-stater, I think 2009, I want to say. But lifelong public school student. My father is a professor at OU. And so academia is really important in our family. And so it's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Jennifer Dilley, are you on with us or are you still hanging out there in space?
I'm on, but unfortunately I don't have a camera. I'm not quite up to date. But I can go ahead and give you a little bit about myself. I'm from Sapulpa, and I work at American Heritage Bank, where I serve as the Chief Strategy Officer. I've been with the bank for over 25 years. My family has lived in Sapulpa for a very, very long time, and we're huge advocates of public education. And I was brought on this committee by Claudia Bartlett, who's been serving from Sapulpa for some of the years past. So I'm happy to be here and learn more about what you all are all about. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Epps.
Hey, Mike Epps. Grew up in Oklahoma City, now a resident of Tulsa, Jinx area for about the last 17 years. OSU alum, class of 95. Like I said, I live in Tulsa. I work for a Zayo, who is a Boulder-based fiber infrastructure company. Our network control center is based here in Tulsa, and I'm the vice president of that network control center. So this opportunity was brought to me by Dr. Kirksey, a friend of probably all of ours here. So I appreciate the opportunity to meet you guys and to serve in the future.
Great. Casey.
My name is Casey. I grew up in Altus, Oklahoma, and I went to Oklahoma Baptist University. And after moving around a bit, I was a public school teacher in Dallas and taught elementary in an inner city area. And my family and I, we moved to California, and then we moved back a year ago. I think my dad is a long time board member of OFE, so I'm pretty sure he's the one that roped me in. But my kids are here in the Edmond Public Schools and just look forward to getting involved in Edmonds Foundation and also OFE as a whole.
Great, thank you. Let's see. Sonia Hughes, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Sonia Hughes. I'm currently the Vice President of Strategy and Service Excellence with CVS Health Aetna. I reside in Oklahoma City. I was educated in the Fort Worth, Texas public school system before attending Oklahoma State. I graduated from OSU in 1990. I went to medical school at Meharry Medical College in Nashville, Tennessee. I did a residency in OBGYN at Cook County Hospital. I practiced for several years in Tahlequah, Oklahoma with the Indian Health Service, and then in the Oklahoma City area before transitioning to becoming a healthcare executive. So recruited by Dr. Kirksey, certainly as long as I was in school, I certainly have a passion for education and the importance of education to a successful life and a successful career. Glad to be here.
Thank you. And David Kendrick, I thought you weren't going to be here, but you are. Welcome.
I pop up in the most interesting places. How's everybody? I'm a class of 1990. Boy, I may be the oldest one here. Member of Academic All-State from Duncan. My background is I studied engineering at OU and then medicine, trained in New Orleans and Boston, and worked in San Francisco before returning back home to Oklahoma, where I'm now in faculty at the School of Community Medicine at OU, and I run the statewide health information exchange, which connects about 4 million patients and their data across hospitals and clinics in Oklahoma.
Thanks for being here with us. Jennifer.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. I'm Jennifer Lauren. I am the director of the Cherokee Nation Film Office and Original Content. I'm also a documentary filmmaker. Before that, I was an investigative reporter and news anchor for many, many years. I started working for my tribe creating documentary content 7 years ago. I have 4 girls, 3 of which are in Tulsa Public Schools. I am a graduate of Booker T. Washington High School here in Tulsa. I am very passionate about my alma mater, and I serve on their foundation board as well as on the foundation board of my daughter's elementary school. And I'm looking forward to being on this. So thank you.
Excellent. Cheryl, you're up.
Cheryl Lovelady, and I grew up in Seminole, and so that says something to this board, and that, you know, when you grow up with David Boren always present, you are involved in all things David Boren, and of course that was my introduction to what you guys do. I graduated from OU, and I live in Oklahoma City. I direct 2 nonprofits. One is Positively Paseo, which has been around about 30 years, and we build the cutest, most wonderful houses ever. And so I get the privilege of helping to improve neighborhoods and also hand the keys to people that will make a huge difference in their life. The other nonprofit that I've directed for many years is the Oklahoma After School Network. And Oklahoma, as many people know, is one of only a handful of states that doesn't fund expanded learning programs and at the state level. So we have a lot of work to do. These are kids, be they rural or urban, that need that after school help. They need tutoring. They need, frankly, a safe place to be sometimes. They need to be introduced to STEAM, which is what we do a lot of. And so that's near and dear to my heart. And I always have felt blessed that I get to intersect really in the 2 places that is a game changer in people's lives. And that's education and home ownership. So that's what I do.
Thank you.
And I remember Jennifer from Tulsa, because I had a sordid career for 30 years or so in politics. And so, you know, I'm trying to better myself these days.
All right, alphabetically last, but I'm sure that's the only category. Marion.
Well, you're kind to say that. Well, good afternoon. My name is Marion Payton, and I currently serve as the President and CEO of Leadership Oklahoma. Several of you all are members of Leadership Oklahoma. Several of you have presented to Leadership Oklahoma, and several of you all will soon be recruited to be part of Leadership Oklahoma. Prior to that, I served for a very long time as the Vice President for Enrollment and Student Services at Oklahoma City Community College. I first met Emily Stratton probably through Leadership Oklahoma City, and then again through Rotary. I'm pretty active in the Downtown Rotary Club of Oklahoma City. And then, of course, she's a member of Leadership Oklahoma. So she recruited me to serve, and I was enthusiastically said yes. I think we have 2 programs in Leadership Oklahoma. One is a high school program, and one is the adult signature program that you all are familiar with, that's been around for 35 years. And the youth program's been around for 22 years. We serve some of the best and brightest, which is the same group that you all serve. And I think that there's a nice linkage between what we do at Leadership Oklahoma and trying to create a connection with our young people to stay in Oklahoma and take a level of pride in the future of our state. So I think it's a good partnership, and I look forward to working with you all to create lasting change in our state.
I love this depth of talent. I love the diversity of skills that you all are bringing to us. I am very excited about this new class of trustees. What can I say? Thank you all again for joining us. We are primarily going to be talking about the Foundation's programs. So keep your ear out for things that kind of speak to you. We've got some volunteer opportunities. Would love for you all to dive right in and get involved. At this point, I'm going to ask Brenda to go ahead and start our slideshow. And my handy dandy script says that Emily is going to start us off. So I'm going to turn over to Cathy.
Thank you. Okay. Well, to kick it off, slide 2. David Bourne, as we mentioned, founded the Oklahoma Foundation for Excellence around 36 years ago. Can everybody hear me, by the way? Okay, great. He thought it should be an organization that was honoring private support for public school education. I met with a group of community leaders from across the state and discussed the situation and recruited them to become part of the initial team to help fund it, as well as to support the organization as it got started. And we reference a quote from him back then that basically is, I think, probably showing on your slide 3 right now, and you all can read that, but he is defining the way we should value education as we value other things in life, and we honor our sports and our business and our entertainment, and we should develop ways to honor our teachers and our students in similar ways. It is the one thing that's going to determine the future of our state and the future of our country. In response to his vision, our awards program was launched for 2 clear reasons. To honor students and teachers who excelled, giving them the recognition they deserved, and to honor academics, showing our value as a people. And our mission, we keep front and center all the time. And you can read there, to recognize and encourage academic excellence in Oklahoma's public schools. And you'll see as we go through this program today that all of the things that we do harken back to this one common mission. We're recognizing and we're encouraging academic excellence in our public schools. So back to Jami.
So this slide is a visual representation of our organizational structure. You will see that the group that you have joined is a body of about 180 members. And the reason for that is because we are a statewide foundation and we want to reach every corner of the state. There is talent there, and we are determined to touch that talent, recognize it, encourage it. So we really view our trustees kind of as ambassadors for the program. And so there's a lot of you. Of course, that structure narrows with an executive committee of 30 members who are responsible largely for overseeing the programming of the foundation. And then within the executive committee, there is a management committee of 8 members that is comprised of the president-elect, who is Andrew Morris this year, the treasurer, who is Deanne Hughes this year. And I am very pleased to say that all of the officers, myself included, are academic all-staters for the first time this year. The management committee also includes the immediate past president, Cathy, of course, our fundraising chair, and then 3 at-large members who serve 3-year terms. You'll see on the chart too that the selection committee is off sort of on a little line of its own. That's very intentional. That is the committee that determines the Medal for Excellence winners and the academic all-staters. They are an independent body. There is absolutely no cracking them. My own son was nominated for an academic all-state award. He didn't win. And I mean, I lobbied hard, but it just doesn't work. It's a blind process. It's very independent. And it's no secret that when I retire from leadership in this foundation, that's where I'd like to go to pasture, is to serve on that selection committee. Lest you think I have any more children who might qualify, I do not. They are all grown and out of the house now. So that would be a safe place for me, just saying. You can see down there the program committees, the academic awards programs, the school foundations network, the early American history programs, teacher grants, the mentoring initiative. All of those are areas where you could get involved. So again, if you see something that sparks your interest, give us a holler. Other committees, board development, you all have been touched by them very recently because here you are. And then fundraising, where we can always, always, always use a hand. And I'm going to take a minute. I don't know if it comes later in the script, but as we all know, I can't stick to a script. Fundraising is obviously very important. We exist to give money away. So part of your responsibility as trustees is, of course, to support the foundation financially. We do apply for a lot of grant monies. We do try to participate in some programs that give us some pass-through dollars. And one of the requirements for those programs is that we have 100% trustee participation in fundraising. I don't care if you give $5 or $500,000. I'll love you more if you give more money, but I'm not going to criticize you if you don't. We just need to have that 100% participation. So keep that in the back of your mind. $5 gets us on the list. That's all it takes. More than that, you get on my special list and you get big hugs when I see you. Slide 6 will show you where those program dollars go.
Right. And yeah, and you can see that not counting 2021, that we were hovering in around $500,000, over $500,000 per year back in 2010. And of course, we go further back than that, but this is just the last 10-year snapshot. Some of these program dollars are larger and smaller based on income and grants that come into us. In other words, not all of these are actual fundraising dollars that we have garnered from our donors, because we act as a pass-through organization for many other entities. And so those bubble up and down over the years, depending on specific donors who request certain things be awarded. And as we go through the program today, you'll discover where those program dollars have come from and why I'm saying what I'm saying. The dip in 2021 is largely, I'm going to blame it totally on COVID. We did a lot of different things during this past year and a half. Our year end ends in June 30th of each year. So you're seeing in that year the reflection of 2020, which we all know was severely impacting our schools. It impacted everything. It impacted teachers traveling. It impacted the teachers in the school, the students in the school. We, and we'll talk about it later, we did a lot of things differently, as I know you all did. So that explains that. Any questions on that particular chart so far? If not, we'll move on. You'll see more later.
All right, so the Academic Awards Program was the first program. It is the flagship program. Awards are given to 100 of the top graduating seniors from Oklahoma's public schools every year, as well as 5 outstanding educators. The banquet rotates between Oklahoma City and Tulsa. In 2020, we did a luncheon in Tulsa, a one-day affair where Erin Rule, who is pictured there in the red sweater, spoke. She wrote the Freedom Writers Diaries and is a wonderful teacher, a wonderful educator. It was very inspiring, although the gala looked a little different because of COVID restrictions. It felt as marvelous as it always does. This year we will be in Oklahoma City, and by this year I of course mean next year, 2022. Specifically May 21st, 2022, will be at the Omni Hotel, and this will be, I'm sure, something brilliant and bold and new and different, as well as we sort of transition back to normal. The banquet committee is a great place to get your feet wet if you'd like to volunteer there. Let's move on to our next look. This will tell you a little bit about the Medal for Excellence Awards. These are our educator awards. I am absolutely never going to read a slide to you if I can help it. I am thinking that you have these in a packet that you can refer back to as you would like. So we'll just keep plowing through there. Academic All-Staters, of course, are awarded $1,000 scholarships. That is a huge initiative that we are really trying to study and focus on this year and next. How to increase the amount of scholarships, how to increase the impact of this award. It's very notable. The students who are recognized in the Academic All-State program are phenomenal, and this award is so prestigious among public schools, among people in the know, particularly here in Oklahoma. The banquet is called the Academy Awards of Public Education. We'll go ahead and move on. That is some highlights from the 2021 program. I know that David was one of our presenters. Maybe some of the others of you have been as well. One of the things that we tap Academic All-Stars for is to make presentations during the banquet, to talk with the students about college and careers and future events. And then also to introduce the educators. And I realize now that I am well beyond what I'm supposed to be talking about, but that's okay. Let me just share this. One of our Academic All-Staters gave us a quote, and we do use these in some of our publicity. A student from Poto said, "My favorite part of the evening was walking into the banquet hall while everyone stood and clapped for us. I never felt so honored in my life. Thank you for this experience." One of our teachers has said from Lawton Eisenhower in 2019, "It isn't often that I'm at a loss for words considering my profession. However, I find it difficult to express the magnitude of my thanks to you for awarding me the Medal for Excellence, the cash award, and the sculpture, but most significantly, for the pure and enthusiastic thoughtfulness and consideration with which everyone involved treated me, my family, and my students. The banquet was the highlight of my career and a magical evening I will remember forever." All right, we will move on. And Cathy, I don't know if you're prepared to take over for the School Foundations Network. I know that's how you got your introduction into the foundation, but since I just talked your part, you want to talk mine?
Well, guys, we just happen to have a script we're supposed to be following, and it was prepared by Emily and Brenda. And by the way, Brenda does a fantastic job, and so Jami and I are trying to negotiate our little our pieces of paper here, and we're doing a pretty good job. So let me go ahead and take the School Foundations Network for you here. Yes, I began in this. It has been changed a couple times as far as names. This wonderful logo that they developed a few years ago called the Oklahoma School Foundations Network, the apple. They changed the name to the word network because that's truly what it is. As if you know anything about school foundations, and I'm guessing many of you do, you realize that they are all independent entities. They're all 501c3s. They all began in their local community. We act as a resource for them. We don't control anything about them. We offer them information. We offer them opportunities and places and events to talk to each other and share best practices through our regional meetings. We have a director on staff who is fantastic, Katie Level, and she is in charge of reaching out, keeping track, talking with all of the exec directors and others, and planning the events for for the school foundations. I believe there are over 200 currently foundations. So side, let's go on to 13. Fall Forum Wednesday webinars are programs that Katie helps plan. We also award outstanding foundations. They self-nominate, telling about their wonderful ways of promoting the public schools that they are a part of, and their successes. And so each year we award 3 different school foundations who have done exemplary jobs. The topics at some of the webinars are upgrading your school foundation's management system, or strategies to get involved with planned giving, which is huge in a lot of organizations, understanding new opportunity tax credit laws for foundations to attract new donors, and of course the outstanding program award opportunities. That's Katie on the left there. It's one of their webinars and presenters that they've used to discuss. That particular event was at the Oklahoma State School Boards Association and the Cooperative Council of Oklahoma School Administration's annual Education Leadership Conference. It was a breakout session that we got to present at, and topics were engaging your school foundation in advocacy, aligning school foundation funding with district needs, which is very much appreciated by local school superintendent, and implementing opportunity for tax credits for school foundation donors. With these ways of sharing information, it allows foundations to communicate across districts, and leadership in those districts to communicate good successes among each other. So this is an opportunity for you to get involved with if you choose. You can get involved with a committee that is in the OFE lineup that Katie chairs. Actually, it's chaired by Josiana, but Katie helps organize. It meets a couple times a year, and they plan and work with the overall focus and strategy of the school foundations network. And also you can get involved with your local school foundations, either serving on your board. You probably already know who your board leadership is. And also just reminding other foundation leaders about us and the opportunities that we have to provide them any kind of assistance that they might want to reach out to. And there's also a national organization that we're also affiliated with that also provides information for helping local school foundations bridge those gaps too. So it's a great opportunity for you guys to get involved is the School Foundation Network.
And I will say, just to piggyback a little bit, the School Foundations Network is one of my particular interests as well. I've served on the Midtown Public Schools Foundation, graduated from the City High School. My parents both taught in Midtown. So that's near and dear to my heart. The program originated with the goal of establishing local education foundations. I think this is a tremendous success story that now we have so many local foundations. We're no longer really needing to establish them, we're needing to support them. And we have really grown in the ways that we've done that. And I think that leadership conference that we participated in for the first time actually this year, where we actually addressed not only foundation leaders, but actual school superintendents, was a huge step forward in the way that this foundation is perceived and can help local education foundations as well.
Jami, may I interrupt for just a moment? I don't know if other people are hearing this. I'm getting a little bit of a garbled sound on your audio. Can you try muting and then unmuting yourself for a moment and see if that might fix it?
It's really sound.
Okay. You're muted right now. Now try unmuting.
Better?
Well, try it one. I'm not sure what else we might try. It was perfect earlier. I don't know if it's an internet issue. I can understand you. It's just a little bit garbled. I mean, let's go ahead and let's move forward. If it gets bad, then we might have Cathy jump in.
I just need all those margaritas I drank for breakfast. Sorry, everybody.
That's all right.
All right. So in Colonial Williamsburg, they also drank margaritas for breakfast. Actually, they did not. Beer, though, supposedly. Anyway, this is one of our long-standing collaborations, which came about because one of our early trustees, Ed Julian of Mustang Fuel, also served on the board of Colonial Williamsburg. And he made the connection between Colonial Williamsburg and OFE. So when Colonial Williamsburg started its Summer Institute for Teacher Training, Ed came to OFE's board and said if we would select teachers, he would raise the money to send them. And the Julian family has continued that partnership ever since. Slide 17 will show you that we have had a tremendous number of Oklahoma teachers participate in the Colonial Williamsburg Summer Institute. It is a real boon to teachers' creativity and the students' experience in the classroom. The teachers become immersed in colonial American life during the program. Next slide, please. Our past participants said, Colonial Williamsburg transformed me from a lousy social studies teacher. I doubt it, but she claims into the most creative teacher with a love of history and geography. When I realized that my feet walked the same path as our forefathers walked, and my hands touched the same things they touched, I could not wait to share my Colonial Williamsburg experience with my students. One way that we do that system at Endeavor is by sponsoring Colonial Day at the Capitol. This is an example of how we've expanded our early American history programming. And in fact, this is how I got reacquainted with the foundation after my Allstate experience. My son, Hunter, participated in Colonial Day at the Capitol in the 5th grade. And I met Emily Stratton that day, and the rest is history, as they say. We have been able to do Colonial Day or early American history projects virtually for the last couple of years, which has been fantastic, enormously successful, less expensive. So those program dollars may have been reduced, but our impact really was not because of virtual programs. In person, we reach about 500 students. Virtually, we reach, I believe, about 500 teachers. So think about that. One of the teachers who has participated in Colonial Day gave this talking about the kids singing this Bill of Rights rap at the top of their lungs on the bus. I have to think that's a much more productive use of their time than singing 99 Bottles of Beer on the Wall like we all did. And moving on.
So Jami, our sound is getting worse. I am wondering if you might try muting yourself and then calling in using the phone number, one of the phone numbers to call in so you have audio. and perhaps Cathy could pick up while you're doing that. And I think we were, let's move to slide 22.
Right.
Will that
right.
work, Cathy?
Happy to do that. Yes.
All right, let's try that because I want
Yeah.
people to be able to hear Jami.
So we, because of COVID, we had to cancel Colonial Day this past year, and we shifted to virtual Colonial Days, which was a series of Zoom webinars that showcased the diverse experiences of early Americans who helped forge our nation. It was titled A Tapestry of Perspectives, and the hour-long webinars took place each Friday from January 29th through March 12th. In addition to hearing about life in the colonies from historical characters like Benjamin Franklin and George Washington, students had the opportunity to ask questions of them as well. We actually were thrilled that 401 teachers and 12,186 students enrolled in this program, which was fantastic. Next slide. Virtual Colonial Days was such a valuable educational opportunity that we plan to continue it at some level, even after Colonial Day at the Capitol returns with the 300 plus in-person student activities, which we have conducted every year in the past. We actually have to limit the teachers who are trying to apply at 300 just due to space, basically, at the Capitol. We could not be more excited about this program. Here's a follow-up quote from one of the teacher participants of Virtual Colonial Days. I can't even begin to thank you enough for bringing Colonial Day at the Capitol to all of our students this year. It has definitely been a silver lining in a very difficult year. So definitely we'll continue that program as we move forward to have a virtual day as well as in person. Slide 24 talks about teacher grants for professional development. This is another program that we conduct. The success of early American history professional development resulted in our starting a program for teachers in all curriculum areas to attend a national conference in their subject areas. So it wasn't just history teachers. We opened it up to other areas. Slide 25 shows the opportunities that have been given to teachers around the state since this teacher grant development program begun. It was showing there 830 teachers have received grants and the total dollars awarded is over $1 million. These dots represent the school districts represented. Now, keep in mind, a lot of this teacher grant money is pass-through money. So entities will have suggestions on how they'd like to award teachers within their district or areas. We help conduct that selection process, dispersal of the money. So the money actually passes through us. So we're very pleased that we're able to recognize those districts in that way. Because of COVID, we had to change and not send teachers to national conferences this year. And instead, with the funding we received from a donor who wanted it to be spent on STEM education, we took a different look at that and found two online training programs, one called the Foundation of Fractions, and it was presented by a national math expert who hit the spot wonderfully with that program. We were able to support 67 math teachers from different parts of the state to participate. It was an enormous success. And we're kind of sitting back and thinking, you know, isn't it interesting that COVID opened new doors for us that we might not have even tried? It expanded our professional development opportunities and will likely continue many of them in the future. So there are some good things that happen because of that. The next slide talks about the Fund for Teachers program, which is another teacher professional development type program. It is an organization, a national organization that we participate in. Oklahoma is a very active player in that group. And in the slide you see is a photo of a child in Zimbabwe that one of the very first teachers in the program, first teachers to apply in the program years ago, I believe she was from Norman, And that photo is just fantastic. I think they were talking about feeling a heartbeat. Isn't that great? Anyway, this program, pardon? This program is a self-designed professional learning opportunities. They mainly fund teachers to apply for summer grants. I believe, you know, the details on it is like one teacher can apply for something up to 5,000 or a team of teachers for 10K. And we participate, OFE participates in selecting the statewide teachers who get to go. So we have many applications. There's a whole structure of recruiting people like us to be readers and raters of particular program applicants, even though we don't know them, that's all blind. But in viewing the wonderful opportunities that teachers want to do to better themselves and become better teachers within their districts, and the reasons why, is just enormous information for people who want to support public education. Slide 27 shows a picture of a fantastic teacher. Her name is Donna Grottle. She was a broken arrow science teacher. I believe she's moved on to a different school now. At one point, she applied for a Fund for Teachers grant to go to Kenya and set up a system to provide clean water. And her students in her science class were very involved with that, and she took a team over there. It was an amazing program. And a quote from her there you can read that she actually did become Oklahoma's 2018 Teacher of the Year, and she attributes that, and as well as being one of 4 national finalists for Teacher of the Year, to having had the opportunity to become a better teacher through the Fund for Teachers program and be able to share that with her students. Slide 28 shows a distribution across the state of the Fund for Teachers impact. And I know we all we sling around the word impact. I view this as just a glorious word. It means it made a difference. It means there was something that happens. It's an active word. And when you think about it, this many teachers in these many communities received dollars to make themselves better, 914 grants, and $3.2 million in these school districts has come through this program that we have helped facilitate. And later on, you'll see how that's worked over the years. But I think it's something that we regularly pat ourselves on the back for. In 29, you can see there are some challenges. The funding for the program was given, as you can see, from the national program when it began, and in 2006. And each year they have receded in their amounts that they have given us, and thus numbers of teachers have fallen over the years. So you can see we were able to award 165 teachers the very beginning years, and we're down hovering into the a little bit better than 28, which was a really severe year back in 2015. We were challenged to fund ourselves. Originally, there was an amount of money that was given by a gentleman who was Oklahoma's, he was the founder of Apache Oil, and his name was Raymond Plank, and he gave money along with Henry Zero to provide funding for this program. It's currently housed at the Tulsa Community Foundation, so that's why you see that purple part there. That money has now kicked in, and it will help fund our Fund for Teachers, because you can see the national level has become quite low. We began a program of asking the tribes through the Tribal Alliance of Oklahoma to help fund some of the areas that were within their purview of their teachers and their students. And so we've been able to pick up more funding each year because of that. So we can give you more details on that, but this is just a good chart for bridge funding and how that occurs for that program. Another program that we have, part of the teacher development program, is an English learners program. We began it as a pilot program, and by that I mean we developed it. We determined that there was a need across the state for students who did not speak English language as their first language, and it was presenting a challenge for classroom teachers across the state if they were not effectively trained. And so it also, of course, affected graduation rates. So we began a program that used online learning, a platform, helped develop it, and it would give networking and support to classroom teachers and schools that had a high enrollment of English learner students. And slide 31 talks about a little bit of the prep course that was developed. In other words, these ladies were an instrumental part of developing the program. We added a certification that the state helped fund that gave vouchers to teachers across the state who had participated in the English Learner Project and then wanted to take the certificate and become certified for teaching the program. And 90 teachers across Oklahoma have now completed the prep course and have received vouchers to take the state test. And so we hope that continues to grow and are very pleased that this program has found that type of success. Slide 32 shows the first EL Teacher of the Year that was selected and awarded last August. Her name is Cassandra Walker. She is from Bixby. She was nominated by her school superintendent, and she received a gift of $3,000. And we named it the Bank First Teacher, EL Teacher of the Year, because Bank First was very instrumental in funding the program initially and donated the $3,000 for the award. And we hope the state continues that award each year as well. OFE determined that this should be gifted to the Oklahoma State Department of Education. And we followed through on that gift to them, and they accepted. And they will now, because we completed our pilot project with much success, and they will then be in charge of working with this English Learner program. And we hope that it has a long-term impact on the lives of individual students, their families, and schools and communities. And so we sort of, in an overall look, this is a program that we saw a need. We developed something to help, and we gifted it to the state, and the state has gladly accepted. And so it's part of the encouragement of becoming better. That is all part of our mission, all rolled in. And we thank the donors who donated to the EL mission on that. Jami, do you want to take over now? Is this working for you?
I'm going to try. Can everybody hear me?
Sounds great.
Yes.
Yay. Okay, and frankly, I'm glad in a way that the audio was screwed up earlier, because that means you didn't laugh at my jokes because you didn't hear them and not because they weren't funny, because I can assure you they were very, very funny and you should have laughed. Anyway, moving on, this is one of our newest programs, our Boren Mentoring Initiative, which was launched in our 20th year in recognition for David Boren's founding of this organization, and in recognition, starting over, see, I am garbled and it's just normal. In recognition of the incredible impact that mentoring by adult role models has on students' educational success. You can see there the mission is to promote the growth and development of quality youth mentoring programs in Oklahoma. On slide 35, you will see some of the program activities that the Mentoring Initiative has done over the past years. One of those is this honoring outstanding mentors during National Mentoring Month every January. We have not done that for the past couple of years because of COVID restrictions, and frankly have decided to branch out in terms of the programming with this particular initiative, starting really now, awarding grants to programs that are in development or expanding or have demonstrated a need for some additional funding. We do believe that mentoring is critical to student success in public schools and in life. And so with a Leffels assistant, who is also the director of the mentoring program, we hope to kind of change the focus, if you will, to providing a resource to other mentoring programs that are affiliated with K-12 schools, and really develop that link and that partnership as we move forward.
And with this chart, you can see the impact. There it is. 3,500 students have been honored through the 100 each year that we recognize at the banquet for 35 years. Medal for Excellence winners, these are the 5 teachers that we honor each year. Those are also presented at the banquet. If I might also mention, if you guys have not attended a banquet, please put that on your list, on your calendar list to do this year. You will have goosebumps at the banquet. It is such an outstanding display of what we're all about, and you really should experience that every year, but certainly as a new trustee, we'd love for you to be there. As you can see, those numbers all represent our good work out there. Fundraising. Yeah, let's go on to our fundraising activities. We do several. We have a major gift opportunity, which is touching those donors that have been longtime supporters in certain ways. And I believe they're called a major donor if they give $5,000 annually or above. We also have an annual gift campaign, which is a direct mail. And that will be to all of our donors ever. That will be to trustees. That will be to those folks that generally donate through some sort of mail or, of course, online. Of course, this is also online. And then we have a third way that people can support us, and that is through a direct mail, a direct request for our banquet. And that is where many of our donors love to sponsor a table, which also pays for the meals for a family and their invited teacher guest. And many times that funding is recognized as a donor gift, and we love on those donors as well. And I think because we honor 100 donors, we come up with 100 sponsors. I mean, 100 students, we come up with 100 sponsors to that event as well. Slide 38 is showing you the revenues and expenses when we balance finances against fundraising. And you could see that there are higher black lines than red lines, which means we do quite well in not going in the red. And so that's kind of for you guys to know about us too. Slide 39 shows that we have current endowments totaling $8 million in our academic awards program and over $500,000 in our Born Mentoring Initiative endowment amount. The first one was established when, like we were talking earlier, former President Boren was involved, I think he was senator then, was involved in securing funds from 11 donors who gave $50,000 each in establishing that original awards endowment. And that has been there since the beginning and has obviously increased. but we also have regular donations to it, and we are able to use some of those funds to help support some of our other ongoing programming. The slide 40 shows our programs against our general administrative costs. And of course, you want G&A to be quite low, and which we're quite proud to show that we do a good job there as well. Slide 41 will show our major gifts campaign contributions. And again, that's 5,000 and 10,000 donors generally. You can see the numbers at the very bottom that show how many of those donors fit in that category over the years. And obviously we've just taken a snapshot since 2009. Our goal is 300,000 annually. We have not hit that yet. We always hope for it. But you can see that last year was our best year yet, amazingly. So Jami, you're up.
Yes, ma'am. Your responsibilities. We probably should have led with this one, but I am assuming that most of you are pretty sophisticated in the ways of trusteeship and board participation. And you know that you have a fiduciary duty to this foundation to act in its best interests. These are, of course, our expectations here on this slide for your participation with the foundation. I will also remind you that as trustees, we're sometimes entrusted with sensitive information such as budget. Confidentiality is expected. When you're called to make a decision for the foundation, your question to yourself should be, what is in the organization's best interest? And when you're dealing with other shareholders in the organization, other constituents, whether it's staff, award winners, each other, please, we expect positivity, stability, lots of smiles, lots of fun. I really do try to keep meetings brief. I try to engage on the important points, and I try to allow some time for us to mingle, because this is a great opportunity to get to know people who share similar values, as well as to impact the foundation's programming goals and our mission. So I will encourage you to fulfill all of your board duties faithfully, to participate in as much programming as you can. Cathy mentioned the banquet. It truly is spectacular. You will have any number of opportunities to see the foundation in action, and I hope that you will join us, as we are counting on you to ensure that these programs not only survive but thrive as we survive these very strange months. If you have any questions, I can entertain them now, or if you would prefer, you can contact me after the fact. I know several of you have other things to do after this meeting.
Well, I just might want to add, it's been delightful having the opportunity to talk with you. And again, I think that this organization is one of the best in the state, and applaud to the staff and our new exec-to-be someday, and Jami for doing a fabulous job with it.
Yes, well, I had very big shoes to fill when Cathy took the past president's position and left this to me. I thank you all for putting up with me. I would encourage you to get to know the staff. We truly are blessed with a loyal, talented, brilliant, beautiful staff that is longer serving. We've had folks in these positions for 20 plus years. They know what they're talking about. They just run us out in front, I think, so that they can point and laugh at us, much as we will be pointing and laughing at those of you who didn't show up today. So with that, I really do thank you all for your time and attention. I have an absolute open door, open email, open phone policy. If you need to contact me for any reason, please do. I am always happy to talk with you. And I look forward to seeing you at some foundation functions in the near future. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Thanks, Brenda.
We'll see you guys. Take care.
Okay, bye.